Does this say that I am live and it has my background flipped around? How do I flip that back so it's facing the right way? That's weird. So, somebody comment, am I live? What's going on here? I haven't used YouTube in like forever. So, don't know if this is better than when I do live on Facebook, since on Facebook I always seem, thank you, Rebecca. Uh, and there's Christopher, because I noticed I can then make him a moderator for the channel. Um, so when we get little trolls in here, he can then handle it. I don't know how I flip this video around so you're not looking at my banner backwards. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Is the banner backwards for you guys? And I see that on here you can see the bottom. I figured, oh good. So it's only backwards on my end. Yay. Thank you, everybody. So I figured I would try doing this on YouTube, because every time I go live on Facebook, we get where it stutters and all that for some people and not others. I don't know if it's a Facebook thing. I don't know if it's my laptop. I don't know. But we're trying it here on YouTube. So and I know I can't make everybody happy. There's people who prefer Facebook, and then there's people who prefer YouTube. Say hi to Andrew Sleva for me. Hi, Andrew or Silva. I don't have my glasses on. So what this live is for today is we were going to talk about that the Wisconsin Supreme Court just recently denied to hear Steven's case, which is something that was expected. I don't know if I'm just I am a negative person. I am a glass half empty person. And when when you follow these cases and everything, you just there's no trust or faith in our judicial system. So and then especially when you get to a Supreme Court level, let me see, I'm pulling up Kathleen's tweet. Where did she, or it wasn't a tweet, it's what she said to a news outlet yesterday. Okay, so this is what Kathleen Zellner said about the Wisconsin Supreme Court denying to hear her petition. She said, "We are not surprised, since the Wisconsin Supreme Court only grants 1 to 2% of petitions for review. Mr. Avery has many options, including proceeding to the U.S. Supreme Court, which takes even less cases, and then federal district. Since the appellate court only ruled on 50% of the issues raised, we will be filing a new petition with the circuit court at the appropriate time." And then she made a tweet that says, where she see, I don't really do Twitter, and I don't really do YouTube. I'm an old person, and it's hard to teach this old dog new tricks. So, but she was retweeting somebody named Rear Admiral, who made a post saying, "Breaking: Wisconsin jury convicts Steven Avery for Rittenhouse shootings," which is, just being sarcastic and funny or whatever. And so Kathleen retweeted that and said, "Why not? We know it will be affirmed by the higher courts in Wisconsin." And now this morning, she tweeted, I'm scrolling up to it, "Steven is just beginning what lies ahead. A habeas petition with federal court, A new petition with circuit court on evidence appellate court left undecided. A new reward offer by our amazing benefactor. We've just finished warming up in the first inning. And then Buting, one of Steven's original attorneys in the Halbach case, says American justice takes a very long time to wind through various levels of courts. The state hopes lawyers and defendants eventually give up so they can sweep it under a rug and the public forgets. Not this time. Persistence is KZ's middle name. Many options remain for Steven. So let me click on this. Okay. Because it was showing at the top of my thing saying that I only had top chat showing. So I wanted to make sure that there was live chat. So I didn't know if I was missing anybody's comments. So knew going in that the Wisconsin Supreme Court wasn't going to hear this. If it goes up to the United States Supreme Court, they're not going to hear it. You hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. The thing that sucks is the stuff that Kathleen Zellner has in those petitions, and you can go to Kathleen Zellner's website. I believe it's KathleenTZellner.com, and then she's got a whole page just for Steven Avery stuff. And then she'll have the links on there that you can click to read her various petitions. And then we've also done live videos of those over on the Steven Avery Project Facebook page. But so the things that she has brought up that were in this petition now can't be used in trying to get an evidentiary hearing, a new trial, or Steven freed. There has to be new evidence. So in her tweet, she says there's going to be a new reward offer. This is not, so I don't like to say anything negative about Kathleen Zellner because I do believe she is the best of the best in freeing the wrongfully convicted. But the way that reward was set up originally said the person gets it only if the real killer is found guilty. So that's a nice out there. So it's something that chances are would never get paid out. Because even if Kathleen is able to free Steven, it doesn't mean that who really did it will ever even be prosecuted, let alone found guilty. So if they're going to be doing some new reward, they need to take that fine print out of it. And that anybody who comes forward with evidence that is what Kathleen has been able to use to get Steven back into court or get him out, they should be rewarded for that. Because it's totally understandable that people in Manitowoc would be scared to come forward. Because look at what has been done to Steven. You would never think, after what they did to him in the Penny Bernstein case, that they would be able to turn around and then charge him with murder. The very same people who were being deposed. So I don't blame anybody who has seen something, knows something, to be scared to come forward. We know there's other things that have gone on in that area, deaths that are unexplained. So I completely understand. not wanting to come forward. Money could make it easier. And if at all possible, maybe they can be kept secret. We've had people at Steven Avery Project who have come forward to tell us things that they know. And then we refer them to Kathleen Zellner. I have said this over on Facebook. I appreciate people who come forward and give us information, but that's not what's going to help Steven. You have to reach out to Kathleen Zellner. And on her website, she does have, there is a direct phone number and email for any information on Steven's case. Now, I have talked to people who have reached out to Kathleen and never heard back, but she's inundated with people sending messages. So keep trying. Or we've had the case of one person who has reached out to Kathleen for years and never got anywhere. And then they reached out to us at Steven Avery Project. And then I reached out to Kathleen and gave her this person's contact information. And then Kathleen sent her investigator to go talk to them. So if you need me to try and reach out to Kathleen for you, I can do that. But I also am now, but please don't give up. You have the one witness who said that when they saw Bobby Dassey pushing the RAV4 in the middle of the night to the salvage yard, that he reported it to the police immediately. And then he just assumed that they have that information and it didn't fit in with the case or whatever. And so that person just went on with their life until years later they watch Making a Murderer. So now they reach out to Kathleen, and even the first time that person reached out to Kathleen, they didn't get a hold of her. So, and she doesn't have just Steven's case. She covers many cases, including Melissa Kaluzinski, another case that I advocate for. So there's people that reach out to her on the other cases. And so I understand if you're scared to come forward, but there's so many people that have to know something. People who had nothing to do with it, but you worked for the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department, or you worked for Sweaty Sweat Ken Kratz, that you saw something that didn't make sense at the time. But now, when you have watched both seasons of Making a Murderer, now you know something went on there. That's not right. I understand the people who worked for Manitowoc, that originally, when you're being told that this is Steven and the stuff that's being told to you by the higher ups, it looks like Steven's guilty. Lots of stuff is buried. Lots of stuff is made up. But once you see all the evidence that's really out there, you have to know there's no way that Steven Avery is guilty. Brendan Dassey is not guilty. You don't have to like Steven as a person. People bring up all the time the throwing the cat in the fire incident, which Steven took the blame for, but he's not the one that did it. He was one of the people that was there. And I'm an animal lover. So that's bad enough If I'm at a bonfire with friends and somebody's like, "Hey, we're gonna pour some gas on this cat and throw it in the fire," we're gonna come to blows. So anybody who just sits back and lets that happen or laughs about it, it's not cool. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. So I get people who want to go back to that incident and don't like Steven Avery, but that doesn't mean he murdered Teresa Halbach. You have to go by facts, the real facts, and the real evidence that all shows that Steven is innocent. So this latest blow to his case that the Wisconsin Supreme Court wouldn't hear it, it doesn't mean anything. It just goes to how it takes so long to overturn a wrongful conviction. That Kathleen Zellner has said it typically takes, is it 15 or 16 years to overturn a wrongful conviction. It's horrible the way that our system is set up in the states. And you have to remember that Kathleen Zellner has only been on this case since January of 2016. So while he's been in prison since 2005, is it? Um, that's not where the clock starts because Kathleen didn't take the case until 2016. There is no justice for Teresa Halbach by doctoring evidence and putting away somebody that the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department just didn't like. Going back to Sandra Morris and her whole issue with Steven and the stuff that she was going around town saying about Steven that upset him. And then that brings it to her friend when Penny Bernstein's coming in to talk about her attack. That sounds like Steven Avery. For the judge to be able to say that you're the worst person I've ever had in my courtroom and your crimes are getting worse and worse. What 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 are you talking about? Because the crimes that Stephen had was the burning the cat, which we know that he didn't do, but he was there. The chasing Sandra Morris and pointing the loaded gun at her, which is bad and wrong. And the breaking into a bar and eating sandwiches and stealing rolls of quarters. Thank you, Bryce. 15 years post conviction. And Gonk, right, the shotgun he didn't own. You can go, there's a website, Steven Avery Case. Is it? I can never remember. One's good and one's bad. There's .org and .com. One the guilters set up to try and trick you into going there, and the other one actually has the good information on there. So you can go read when his landlord, Raleigh Johnson, I always say his name wrong, testified. The shotgun that was hanging, thank you, Bryce, and gonk.org. That's what I thought, that's the good one. The shotgun hanging above Steven's bed in the trailer was Rolly's. But due to the pointing the gun at Sandy Morris, Steven was a felon and is not allowed to have a weapon, which I don't want to derail into this, but Kyle Rittenhouse is just found not guilty of murdering 2 people and attempting a third. So it was okay for that 17-year-old to carry around that AR-15. and kill people, but Steven's in trouble because a gun was hanging over his bed. Um, but let's not slip down that slope. But at some point, we're going to do a live and talk about. Oh yeah, thumbs up, Nana. We are live now. So Steven didn't understand that when he was still able to get a hunting license, but he's not allowed to have a gun. So Steven probably didn't even pay attention. You know, the Rowley's gun just was like decoration or whatever. He's probably not paying any attention to it. But that's what they initially took Steven into custody for when Teresa Halbach was missing. And so Steven would have always had done time because Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department was always, you know, he's in a deposition with Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department where he's trying to get $36 million. So anything they can do to make Steven look bad, they were going to do. Let's not start getting into the Rittenhouse case. We will do a separate video at some time where we can fight about if the murderer is guilty or not, and he's guilty. But and I know I'm starting it by saying that, but yeah, let's not derail this. This is on Steven right now. And Bryce is not a freaking owl. Don't even bring us down that road. Yes, thank you, Kat. We are focusing on Steven. But just because the Wisconsin Supreme Court didn't refuse to hear it doesn't make Steven guilty. Just like, I'm sorry, just because somebody is found guilty or innocent in a court of law in the States doesn't make them guilty or innocent. Because our system is so screwed up. And in Steven's case specifically, they stacked the deck so high against him, there is no way Steven was going to get a fair trial. Steven did not get a fair trial, point blank in the period. Whether or not you feel Steven is guilty or innocent, and if you think he's guilty, this is not the place for you. Why are there two people on Steven's jury affiliated with the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department? Where you have Carl Wardman, whose son, when you go to Kathleen Zellner's website and you click on her page for Steven, the picture she has on there, and it's also if you just Google Steven Avery or you Google Wardman, you'll find it. You'll see Steven is handcuffed in the front. He's in the orange jumpsuit. He has a female officer on one side of him and a male officer on the other. If you zoom in on the male officer's name tag, you're going to see Wardman. That officer who was taking Steven in and out of court, his father was on Steven's jury. But wait, there's more. Carl Wardman was a community service officer for the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. When you Google him, you can find a picture of him and some other guy in a car, a community service vehicle where they have the doors, both front doors open, and they're, posing with the open doors. Why is Carl Wardman or Wardsman, I always screw up that name too, on Steven's jury? Then there was another person on the jury who was married to a Manitowoc deputy. Not one, two people affiliated with the people who put him away for Penny Bernstein, and now are the ones to find all the evidence against Steven for Teresa Halbach. Why are those two people on the jury? When I attended Brendan Dassey's hearings at the Seventh Circuit here in Chicago, at one of them, Jerry Buting came to. And I talked to him outside after the hearing. And I asked him that. Why did, because in all the pretrial stuff, you're picking your jury and you get to knock some out of the jury pool. Why are those people on the jury? And you're only allowed X amount of strikes. And he said they thought they got rid of the people that were even worse. So they stacked that jury pool that there was going to be no way you were going to get a fair and impartial jury. So Steven never could have been found not guilty. Carl Wardman is going to say guilty. It doesn't matter if everybody else in that room said not guilty. Carl Wardman's going to say guilty. So that is besides all the fixed evidence and all of that. You have two people from Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department on his jury. Oh, the jury found him guilty. And then another thing that I always say about juries is juries aren't given all the evidence. That's that big, arguments that all the attorneys do on, trying to get things tossed and blocked from the jury. So we all know more about the case than a jury does. They're blocked from seeing it all. So how are you getting a fair trial when stuff that can prove the guilt or innocence is tossed? Shouldn't that be what everybody involved in our legal system, whether or not it is a police officer, a sheriff's deputy, a district attorney, a defense attorney, a judge, whatever, all of them, they're supposed to be wanting justice and going wherever the facts take them. That should be all that matters, is we want justice. We want justice for what has happened to Teresa Halbach. Not, we don't like Steven, and Steven saw her that day, so let's get him. Just like in the Penny Bernstein case, when the fix was in to get Steven for it, Gregory Allen is then able to go and rape other women. So who knows we don't even know for sure what really happened to Teresa Halbach. We just know she hasn't been seen since Halloween of 2005. You can't say she was raped. You can't say she was shot. You can't say she was stabbed. We don't know. There is no evidence to show what happened to her. And when you have people like Sherry Culhane in the lab, that Kratz is sending her a note saying, put her in Steven's house or garage, and then she's coughing or sneezing or whatever she did, that she's tainting the evidence. I mean, there's just There's so much wrong. And I would feel this way no matter what if I thought Steven was guilty or innocent. Don't talk about the Rittenhouse case, but let me just something I posted yesterday. I've already said I believe Rittenhouse is guilty. But the prosecution has done a shitty case. And this whole thing with the video and that the defense was given a not clear version of the video, that's not right. And so I compared it to another one of Kathleen Zellner's cases that I advocate for, Melissa Kaljuzinski. Melissa Kaljuzinski. In Melissa Kaljuzinski's case, they doctored an x-ray and they gave it to the defense, but I can't follow all of the technical stuff, but it's like you needed a special program to be able to open it, to see it at such and such. So then the excuse is, oh, we sent it to her or sent it to them. It's not our fault if they didn't properly open it. And so the x-ray the defense had, it's all blurred and you can't really see anything. But then when you see the real one, it absolutely goes into showing Melissa's innocence. So I can't be a hypocrite and go, well, whatever the prosecution had to do to get Kyle Rittenhouse found guilty because he's guilty. No, because in the Rittenhouse case where I feel he's guilty, you still have to try him based on real facts. You can't do this shady crap. So that brings it back to, once again, a thing that I rant about all the time is why voting is so important. We need to make sure we are electing judges and district attorneys, state's attorneys, sheriffs, whatever, all those people. We need to be electing good people, not people who are going to do this kind of shady crap to just get a conviction. So, and in Steven's case, we had Bobby Dassey's computer that the state identifies the computer as Brendan's. Who Brendan, just a 16-year-old boy with a low IQ, Brendan can't hurt a fly. So when you say there's nothing of significance on Brendan's computer, Strang and Buting just, okay, which they never should. Why are you trusting the state ever? So I believe right there is an ineffective assistance of counsel. That they just go, all right, yeah, we're not even going to look at Brendan's computer. That is really, I don't like the semantics game. It's the family computer. Anybody could have used it. Right. But it was in Bobby's room. And when you look at when all this disgusting stuff was found on this computer, it is done at a time that only Bobby Dassey is home. When they are going to search Steven's computer in his trailer and try to use the fact that he's got pink fuzzy handcuffs to, oh, he's a sexual deviant, it means he murders some random girl. but it's not important that Bobby right next door has that stuff on the computer and that Bobby saw Teresa Halbach that day. Is there star witness that he saw Teresa Halbach? So the disgusting things on his computer, oh, we don't care about it. But Steven having pink fuzzy handcuffs, oh, look what he did to her. But Steven's own attorneys didn't buy Kratz. All these shady games, and there shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should just be the facts. So how can anybody on either side of a case in a courtroom say they are there for justice if you're going to doctor facts or try to cover facts just to prove your narrative? So the Wisconsin Supreme Court, in denying to hear the latest on Steven, is expected, just like every time Kathleen's got to bring it back to the same judge who has already ruled against Steven. Is it really a shock when they go, no, not going to say I was wrong? But it should just be based on evidence and science and facts. And Kathleen Zellner doesn't just go off on what people say. You can see it in Making a Murderer. You can see it for Melissa Kaluzinski's case. There's the 248 Hours episodes, Fight for Melissa, Blaming Melissa. There's the Ryan Ferguson case, Dream Killer. The Riley Fox case. So those are just a few of Kathleen Zellner's cases where you see time and time again that she is getting independent experts to test the state's theories, and the science doesn't match the theory. Kathleen, I'm like Kathleen Zellner in that there's nothing in it for me if Steven is innocent or guilty. If I found evidence that pointed to Steven's guilt, I would say Steven is guilty. It doesn't even matter. And now I just got a thing saying my connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So I don't know if people are still here or not. And so then that's not just a Facebook thing. That's a my computer thing. So somebody tell me if you're still seeing me right now. Okay. Thank you, everybody. What was I talking about now when that distracted me? And it's still up there saying my connection is unstable. See, I'm old and my memory's going. All is good in Wisconsin. Okay, yeah, like Kathleen Zellner. Thank you, Merman. Even all these years later, I didn't know about Steven's case until I watched Making a Murderer in December of 2015. And, so I run Steven Avery Project and all that stuff, and how I've followed the case all these years. If something came to me today that showed me unequivocally that Steven Avery was guilty, I would say Steven is guilty. I am a proud flip-flopper. I know that's something that's supposed to be thought of as a bad thing. But no, if you come to me with evidence to prove that something I have said or done is wrong, I will say I was wrong. So Kathleen Zellner doesn't have to take a case and says she's not going to take a case. Oh, hey, Tom. And thank you, Christopher, for messaging me, telling me everything is fine. She's only going to take a case if she knows somebody's innocent. She's been duped before, not going to do it again. And I believe Oh, thank you for about my earrings. Um, I believe if Kathleen uncovered evidence today that showed her that Stephen was guilty, she would leave the case as well. So I have no blind loyalty to Stephen. I'm following where the facts and the evidence go, and everything points to Stephen is innocent. So Kathleen will, I'm sure, positive, she has more stuff that we haven't heard yet because that's what you have to do in this dumb system in order to get another chance, starting back over all over again at the lower court, that you have to have new evidence. So you can't show all your cards when you file something because it might go to where we are today. And now that stuff can't be used in another filing. So I am sure she has more, but that's also where I'm hoping that with her saying they are going to be doing a new reward thing, that they take out that fine print of the real killer has to be found guilty. Take that out of there. And if you know something, please contact Kathleen Zellner. Stephen and Brendan should not be in prison. Stephen has already now lost his mother. I just that's like one of the most tragic parts of this case is that Stephen cannot be reunited with his mother, and that Stephen was kept from his mother in the year preceding her death. Stephen's dad is how old? Health not great? Is that and Stephen, like Brendan, has really never gotten an opportunity to be a free man, adult. Because for Penny Bernstein, they took him when he was 22, and then he was only out for 2 years before they took him again. Brendan, they take when he was 17. So Brendan never got a chance of freedom. Brendan never got to go to prom. Brendan never got to get his driver's license. Brendan didn't get to graduate high school and walk across that stage. Brendan and Stephen have never been free men. They were free boys. And now Stephen has lost his mother. Can't put a dollar amount on that. Nothing you can do to fix that. I am happy that Stephen has been getting more visits by his dad, but that's hard for his dad to go. When um I'm obviously not as old as his dad. I have my own medical issues. The drive to the prison, then sitting in those chairs for however long your visit is, not good on you. I don't know what the rules are in Stevens prison for visitations since we are in the time of COVID, but I visit with Melissa Kaluzinski. And so there you have to sign up online for a visit, and it has to be 2 weeks in advance. Or no, 1 week in advance. So Melissa's parents, they're even worse with technology than I am. So you have to sign up for your visit online. They don't know how to do it. So I have to do it for them every time they want to go visit Melissa. And it's this big long thing that you have to fill out every time, asking the same things: your name, your age, your weight, um, color of your hair, color of your eyes. Are you vaccinated? Because you can sign up at Melissa's prison. So the morning visits, the 2 morning visits are for vaccinated people, and the afternoon visits are for unvaccinated people. And so, are you vaccinated? Have you been to prison before? Are you on anybody else's visitation list? What kind of car do you drive? All this stuff. So, but while Melissa's dad doesn't work because he's got a lot of medical issues, Melissa's mom's got a full-time job. And Melissa's mom takes all the work she can get. And so sometimes she's working on the weekend, or something pops up. So it's hard then to be able to go, okay, well, next weekend I can go visit, because what if work pops up? And it's not that Melissa's parents don't make Melissa a priority. Melissa absolutely is a priority of theirs, but also her mom is who makes the money for the household. So if she can get that extra work, she has to take it. So it's hard that you have to know a week in advance and schedule for this. And they're only allowing like 10 people in. Now, when I go visit Melissa, I don't have a real job. So I go on a weekday, and it is easier for me to get a visit. The last time I visited with Melissa, I was Melissa and I were the only ones in the visitors room. There was nobody else in there that shift. But with her parents only being able to go on the weekends, I'm sure that's when most people want to go. It's a and for Melissa's parents, it's a 3-hour drive to the prison. I don't know how long of a drive it is for Steven's dad, who mostly stays up in Crivets. I've never looked at how long of a drive that is for him. That's a lot. And then if you have to wear the mask, and I'm not an anti-masker, and I am triple vaccinated, I have my booster, but I get it. Wearing masks aren't fun. And I'm sure that is hard for Steven's dad. So this is all, it's sad that it's another blow to Steven's case, but it's expected. It was expected that the Supreme Court, the Wisconsin Supreme Court, wasn't going to hear his case. And as Kathleen says, let me get back to this. Let me get these things off here. Steven is just beginning. What lies ahead? A habeas petition with federal court, a new petition with circuit court on evidence appellate court left undecided, a new reward offer by our amazing benefactor. We've just finished warming up in the first inning. And let me remind you all, this is something we get on Steven Avery Project on Facebook a lot, is, people are like, it's been so long since we've heard anything on the case. People get annoyed by it. Um, it again goes back to our system, how everything takes time. And remember, this is Stephen and Brendan's real life. So for a lot of people, especially on Steven Avery Project, they just think of Making a Murderer as, this is my favorite show, and I, want an update on my favorite show. This is real life, and Stephen and Brendan have had their freedom taken from them. and they've been ripped from their family. So if you think that it's hard on you that there's no update, imagine being them. And that even though I'm sure they know better than all of us what it's like when you get yet another denial, they're the ones that are getting the denial. So we just have to be supportive and always be there. Send Steven a letter of support. But I always warn people, do not write to Steven in just thinking you're going to get a letter back. Steven does not write to everybody. He has been burned how many times by people who are just trying to manipulate him or to try and sell the letter or sell a story to a tabloid that Steven told them X information. You're just sending him a letter of support. The holidays right around the corner. Send them a holiday card, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Let them know that you're here for them as long as it takes. Where did I put it? Oh, I didn't put it in the right spot. So, Steven, as he mailed to me, this was years ago. I'm trying to get it so you can see in this light. He wrote on there, "Love my supporters." This light is so. Let's see. Switch. Does that make it easier to read? No, it doesn't. But he wrote on here, "Love my supporters." This is a picture from 2019. So you let Steven know that you're with him and you know that he's innocent and you're going to be there no matter how long it takes and how long it is in between filings and hearing anything. Christopher, who is one of the moderators of our Facebook pages, Steven Avery Project and MAM Gossip and Justice with Jax. Do I have the address? Christopher, can you get that posted in here? So Christopher has been nagging me forever to do more live videos. So what we're going to start doing probably in December, we're going to start doing regular live videos once a week. So probably Wednesdays at 1 Central Time, Chicago time. So the same time I went live today, that we will be doing lives. And it's looking like so far YouTube has had a more stable connection. So maybe we would be doing that here on YouTube and then sharing it over on Facebook. We're trying to figure it all out. You know, I didn't want to start it next week with Thanksgiving being on that day, and then I have an event the Wednesday after that. So we were thinking of, I believe it's December 8th, would start the weekly Wednesdays at 1 on the Justice with Jax. And so depending on what's happening, you know, it might be a specific topic that we do for a particular week, or it could be completely open where we'll talk about anything that's justice related. It doesn't have to be a wrongful conviction, just, you know, we're looking for injustice and talking about it and exposing it. So Christopher would make events that would be put in Steven Avery Project and MAM Gossip. And it might not be every single Wednesday. We may take one Wednesday off a month, or if things pop up, whatever. And I think we're going to be doing a live video next week too, is still trying to figure out then how to use this YouTube thing and if I can directly connect it to our Facebook pages or how that all works. Gonk, I don't have any updates on Marnie Yang. I haven't been with that case in a while. So I haven't heard anything. Sometimes somebody who is affiliated with the case will let me know that something's going on, but I don't know anything at this time. Marnie Yang, though, for those that don't know the Marnie Yang case, she is not represented by Kathleen Zellner, but her attorney, Jed Stone, that is from Lake County, Illinois, where both Marnie Yang and Melissa Kaluzinski's cases are from. Jed Stone is a great wrongful conviction attorney as well. He doesn't have the wins that Kathleen has, but Marnie's got a great guy defending her. Um, well, thank you, Shay. And Gunk, yeah, I have used StreamYard before, and I do have a paid Zoom. So, all things to look into, but I am just I don't I'm not a technology person, and I'm somebody who like fears it. You should have seen how hard it was to get me to go from MySpace, really aging myself, to Facebook. I didn't want to leave MySpace. I now knew how to work it and didn't know anything about Facebook and didn't want to do it. And now I know from the younger people that, Facebook isn't the cool place, that um, Facebook's not there. And then I toy with going, all right, should I just start a website? Oh my gosh, the roundabouts. I hate roundabouts. Unknown caller. I don't know who's calling me, so I'm not taking that call. Um, Unknown caller. So we'll play with it and we'll figure out what's the best way for us to do these lives. My husband Jeff, oh my gosh, 7 roundabouts. They are so confusing to me. I don't like them. I know Jeff the executioner. That is my husband, who I just mentioned, by the way. When I talk about a website, I mean where I could do these live videos from the website, and that then I'm not relying on Facebook or YouTube or something else, that we could just be doing this on a website. So now when Facebook's no longer cool, or for people who don't want to be on Facebook, then they can't get our if I do videos on Facebook, then I don't know if there's people who don't like YouTube and don't want to be on YouTube. I don't know. So, but Jeff has been telling me forever that I should be doing them from YouTube. And we had done, so if you look into the older videos that we have on here, we did do the prison calls. So uh, Brendan's calls and some of Steven's calls. So we were doing something regularly here a while ago on YouTube. But it just seems like when I go live on Facebook, we get way more people that are engaged and ask questions and whatnot. And I know Facebook better, but then every time I do Facebook Live, I'm constantly freezing up and people can't, so it's like, all right, I'm going to try YouTube. But, while I've been talking to you, I'll say I'm fine, but I have a thing on top here saying your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So it's like, I don't know. Um, but you'll all play along with me. If you have suggestions for live videos that you would like us to do, we do have an email address, which is, well, I have Justice with Jax, right? I do have justicewithjax@gmail.com. And then there's also official Steven Avery project at gmail.com. Oh, Gonk only does YouTube for videos nowadays. Thank you, Shay, for telling me that. So, and then full disclosure, I've also been very vocal over the years that I don't like people who have used YouTube, that they monetize it and they are making money off of Steven's name. So that was another reason why it's like, well, I'm not going to use YouTube because now I'm a hypocrite. But as of right now, I'm not monetized. It doesn't mean I wouldn't be, I guess, at some point if I had the following. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. But I can guarantee if I was to be making money off of Steven or Melissa or whatever, I would be funneling money back to them. I have a book that I've written about my experience on Steven's case that I finished writing. Thank you, Jeff, for letting me know that I'm 540 subscribers short, that I have no subscribers. Um, wah, wah. Um, so I finished the book this summer, writing it, I think. And so it's currently with several different editors. I know my husband Jeff has more subscribers than I do, and he's monetized. Actually, and on his page is when we went to Manitowoc. Jeff is the one that took video where we proved there was no way that Pam Sturm would be able to find the RAV4, and that the bus driver couldn't have seen Teresa Halbach. So if you go to that Jeff the Executioner page, that's where you'll see those two videos. But then most of his other videos are all about his fish stuff that Jeff makes the big bucks of $50 or whatever it was. Um Gonk says get a community tab. Um so but I absolutely, if whenever my book gets published and if it makes any money, I absolutely will give Steven some of the profit, which, the book is about my experience with the case. So, but still, people wouldn't be interested in my book if not for Steven. So I absolutely will give him money. And I've given him money on other things. Like we have an Etsy shop, Justice with Jack's Etsy shop, which actually some of the stickers are right here that we sell these different stickers. Now get ready for my commercial. So we've got the free Steven Avery sticker. We've got the Justice with Jack's vagina bat. We all live on Avery Road. The Justice with Jack's with the butterfly, like what's on the back here. This is the Melissa Kaluzinski Monarch, which I need Jeff to make different ones if these were actually to sell because you can't really read it. Free Brendan Dassey with the dragonfly. Don't Get Strange. Can't remember who from MAM Gossip came up with this, but I love this so much. The guessing is not confessing on Brendan's wrongful, coerced, false confession. And then when we were listening to the Brendan calls, was it Kat who would always let's slap Barb? So we've got that Etsy store. Nothing really sells. But we've got all those stickers in there. And if that was to end up making money, I absolutely would give Steven money. But right now it's just a lot of money that Kat, it was you. I thought so. But right now, like everything we've done has just been my husband Jeff paying for all this stuff and losing money on it. So all right, I'm trying to keep these only an hour long, and we're a little over an hour. So back to summarizing why we were on. Yes, The Wisconsin Supreme Court has denied to hear Steven's case, but that's expected. It's not over, but it could still take a long, long time. But let's keep our happy thoughts. And we will probably go live at some point next week, as we're still trying to tweak this before we start our weekly Wednesday lives at 1. However we're going to word it. Jeff might come up. Jeff is always my creative director that comes up with these clever little things. So we'll probably start doing those. So please let me know and we can talk about any case, whatever. That's why it's under the Justice with Jax, because if I do it as like Steven Avery project, people are like, what does this have to do with Steven? Not everything is Steven. There are other cases of injustice out there that deserve attention. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. If anything is to develop in Steven's case, we do bring it to you immediately. So, Kathleen isn't filing anything today, I wouldn't think, but you never know. But, as soon as something is filed, we bring it to you when you get it. Shay's asking me, have I ever met Steven? I'll show that before I go. Here's how I was being so clever. This was the first time I ever visited Steven. And so I wore a shirt that said Free Melissa. God, I can't. There. So I wore a shirt that said Free Melissa. Because then on my very first visit with Melissa, I wore this shirt that says Injustice Everywhere. So I was promoting Steven's case with Melissa and Melissa's case with Steven. And then this was another visit with Steven that I was wearing my husband's shirt that he made that said Link shot Kennedy. What did it say? Something on the grassy knoll. I can't read it. So do I only have 2 pictures of visits with Steven? Yeah, I think I only have 2 visits with Steven. I haven't visited Steven in a long time, though. I also have a picture of Steven by himself on one of the visits. Carol Baskin still being free is something. Tom, I did a live on the Justice with Jax Facebook page the other day, since I did finish watching. Oh my God, this is excellent timing. That I did just watch the next season of Tiger King. So we'll do that one here as well, that we'll talk about the Tiger King case on one of the Wednesdays, or maybe we'll even do it next week. So my dogs are barking because Amazon is here. So this is perfect timing that I was closing this up anyway. And my husband ordered something that he needs at work. So I'm going to need to go so I can take his Amazon to his shop. So thank you, everybody, for joining me, and stay tuned for our live next week. Have a good weekend.